According to head coach Mike McDonald, Rayshon Jenkins will be elevated to the 53-man roster, meaning that the safety will play against the Cardinals on a Sunday. That move will happen tomorrow. Let's get to the video.
Well, when you first see that stat, you kind of just assume they're just running it in, and they're really efficient running the ball down there. Kyler definitely becomes more of a factor down in the red zone, but they've been throwing it in as well. So we got to be on our P's and Q's, on our details. And when it gets down there, that should be our style of football where we can come alive. So definitely a great challenge. Stacking, always move forward. That's the mentality. He's had a good week, and we've talked about it since he got here. Just his mentality, is just kind of this steady presence, and game's not too big for him, so we expect him to keep growing his game. It's good, we're on plan here for probably a bigger game load, and how much that is, we're still making that decision right now. So excited about him.
How do you
Shoot, I thought it was kind of fun, And we had lights on the second floor. The guys didn't have lights in the locker room, I think, so they had, but it's cool. It's a cool way to, kind of forced to hang out and bond, and guys were laughing and having a good time. And, shout out to Dan Kramer, one of our facility guys. Got the hot water working yesterday after practice, so that was clutch. But it was a really good week. These things are going to pop up, and I think it's just the mentality of just working through these things. It's another thing that we could go through, not around, and on where we go. So another story to tell at the end of the journey.
I knew they were running with the guys, so once he took off, I felt pretty good he was going to get it.
Did you give him that play call?
Well, I gave him the play. I didn't tell him to run, but Gino's got a really good sense for that. Got great pocket awareness, and it was not surprising at all. He's done a good job of that this year.
What did that win mean for the process that you guys have been working through and working on this year?
It meant a ton. I just think, obviously, anytime you put that much into a game plan, and we put a lot into the season in general, but all the things that I think the guys were up against, for how many losses in a row we'd had in San Francisco and the narrative that went with that. I thought just the guys, buying into the process, and they could have really hung their heads and stayed behind with some of the things that had happened, losing some tough games. And I thought it started with the bye week, though, that they had the right attitude. They came back, they were ready to get into the work and find the things we had to improve on, and they attacked it. I think that game was a response to that. Really well collectively. I thought Olu did a really nice job of just being able to step into that role and communicate effectively, and kept them on the same page. And I thought that was the biggest starting point. And Olu certainly did a good job of that.
How big it's able to meet your expectations?
Just the attack mentality. The intelligent piece has always been there. Olu's a really, really smart player. I think he really worked on his base and his second step. And those are, hand placement, all the little things that can get you beat on the inside. But everything that was showing up in camp that we had addressed with Olu, I think he attacked it. I don't think there's ever been a game where I would have been worried about, throwing the ball to Jax in a really big moment. I think that's exactly who he is. I think we're really blessed to have some, a couple veteran guys that obviously have made a lot of those plays, and then Jax is a guy that certainly is capable of making that kind of play at any moment. So I'm just really excited for him. He's really starting to show what we know he is. Any play caller has to be ready to be adaptive to, how well your offense is playing or executing in certain portions, both with either personnel or lack of.
It really comes to execution. The ability to execute the call, the ability to communicate, and the understanding of what they're trying to attack, taking away the deeper throw maybe, or making sure they don't. You're not in your gap. You're making a play. You're covering someone else. Those are the areas like tackles. Those things create explosives when you miss those things. And last week we didn't. We played clean, and it helped us a lot. Especially because what happens is suddenly you put yourselves in good third down situations, and you go for losses that we shouldn't have had. If you look at the game, that when those games go one way or the other, when you win it, you might not see it, but you need to see it. You need to see those things, and when things don't go as well, you need to see the good things and how you evaluate those things. So I think for us, keeping that balance, I think you just see a little bit more consistency. And we've got to keep pushing that. We've got to keep growing it in practice, and it's got to outcome in the game. I think, like, it's funny, like, Dre's played a long time in the NFL, but he played 3 technique. And now, like, he came here and he was playing 3 technique, and then when Leo came, he moved outside, and we're using him outside, and we use him inside as a rusher. And that's a growth, and I feel like Dre is one of those guys that is improving week by week. I thought he had a really good game against the 49ers. We saw him setting edges, we saw him rushing, and I'm excited for him.
All right, so there you go. You saw the injury report, really nothing new there. And then you also heard from head coach Mike McDonald, defensive coordinator Aiden Durde, and also offensive coordinator Ryan Grubb. And that's what I'll try to do now on Fridays, try to give you the assistant coaches and whatnot. And so just in terms of the big question here, can the Seahawks offense score more than 20 points? They haven't done that in the last 3 games. And in fact, the last time the Seahawks scored over 20 points was in the win over the Atlanta Falcons. The Seahawks have the number 2 ranked offense in the league, and Jackson Smith-Njigba is on a tear. He's had 2 back-to-back 100-yard games, receiving, that is. I'd also look for DK Metcalf, to score a touchdown this game, his second game back after an injury report. Now, the pass should serve favorably for the Seahawks because the Cardinals have the 21st ranked defense overall and 21st ranked against the pass. Now, if the Seahawks can establish a run game, I think then this will give them a balanced attack and a really good chance to win the game. I think, better than good chance to win the game because the Cardinals are giving up 123.7 yards a game, their defense is, while the Seahawks offense, if you remember, is only rushing 91.5 yards a game. And if the Seahawks can get over 100 yards in rushing, then the play action is in play. That means then you can freeze the linebackers, give a chance for DK to go down deep there, and I think then the Seahawks would have a really good chance of winning the game on Sunday. But, we talked about the defense yesterday. The offense has to get a fast start, and I talked to Abe Lucas. He says he's feeling really good and that they're ready to play physical and continue to win another game. 2 in a row, if you will. From the VMAC in Renton, Amaz Vida Mara Ire for the CascadiaSports.net report. Thanks for watching, listening, and subscribing.